general, because a lot more people is educated, well educated. So, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, we believe that university education should be free in Vietnam.
Okay, we'll now have 1 minute for. Okay, thank you very much. We'll now have 1 minute for the negative team to prepare their first speaker.
Of the audience. I am the first speaker of the negative team, and we are here to convince you that all universities, not all universities in Vietnam should be free. First of all, I would like to rebut some of the opposing team's points. First of all, they mentioned that the poor people can have the opportunity to go to university because they have potential. But there are a lot of alternatives for that, such as scholarships. These students, if they have potential and they want to learn, then they should get a scholarship for free. Not only will it, secondly, they could receive loans from the government and then pay them when they get a job. Secondly, if everyone in Vietnam is educated and has degrees, then that would make degrees meaningless because everyone would be overqualified. And that would lead to unemployment because jobs, menial jobs such as being a janitor or a plumber, no one would do that. Now I would like to say some of our team's points. First of all, where do we get the money to fund universities? Of course, it would have to come from tax money. Tax money alone will not be enough to afford good equipment and to pay the instructors and professors. That would lead to the universities being low in quality. Secondly, people may take college for granted because they won't have to try to get into universities if universities are for free. Also, universities are not mandatory. So why don't we make schools, primary schools and secondary schools and high schools free? This will ensure that everyone in Vietnam would get a basic education.
30 seconds.
And if they want to pursue more knowledge, they can, like I said, get scholarships to get into university. And that is why we believe that not all schools in Vietnam should be free for everyone.
The topic of our debate today is that university education should be free in Vietnam. We, the affirmative team, believe that this statement is true. The first speaker from the negative team had tried to tell you that there are too many degrees for the students, but this is wrong because there still be tests to find out who is qualified enough for the university and jobs after they graduated. And there aren't enough scholarship for everyone to get, like the poor students. So they need a free education to have a chance to join the university. They also try to say that the Vietnamese government doesn't have enough money to set up the free school, but this is wrong because there are many countries in Europe that are doing this, like Germany, Scotland, and Norway. And the speaker also said that if the students study for free, they won't have any motivation to learn. But when they study for free, they don't have any debt to worry about when it's learning, when they were learning, and they will be more focused to the learning section. Now I will be talking to you about our points. Our first point is that when the country has the free university education, the people will be more educated and there will be more responsibility to the community. This will reduce the crime percent in all over the country, including the life quality of the country. Our second point is that when the students are studying in the free university, the loans that the student have to pay back to the government is low, and they will be more motivated to work in their life. Like, according to the time.com, the total amount of the debt that students in USA own are $108 trillion. And 55% of the USA students are in debt. This number is as big as twice as the Germany student percent.
30 seconds.
And the average amount of debt that every student has to pay is at $82,300. And the total percentage of the students who graduated universities that are in debt in worldwide are 89%. So again, in conclusion, we, the affirmative team, believe that free university education in Vietnam should be free. Thank you.
Thank you. And 1 minute for the negative team to prepare their rebuttal.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chairperson. I am the second speaker of the negative team, and I am here to convince you all today that it is not necessary for university education in Vietnam to be free for everyone. First of all, I would like to address some arguments presented by the opposition. First of all, they said that that the fact that we could that Vietnamese tax money was not enough to provide for schools was false, and that they brought up European countries as an example. Well, I would like to point out that it is a very bad idea. It is not good. It will not lead anywhere to compare European countries with Vietnam, because countries in Europe are much more developed, and they have more money, so more money can go to education. Whereas in Vietnam, we do not have that much money to spare, and that will lead to lower quality schools, as mentioned before. He also said that if the population was more educated, there would be less crime because they would be more knowledgeable. But university only crams you with knowledge. It doesn't teach you about morals. That does not necessarily mean that there will be less crime. Next, I would like to remind the opposition that it is a possibility to not go to college. We never said it was necessary for them to go to college. So when they talk about debts, it is not necessary for people to go to university, and not necessary for them to get into those debts in the first place. Now I would like to move on to some of our points. First of all, when you go to college, you're there so that you can get a degree, so that you can get a job later on and be able to support yourself. Well, if you're able to get this job, you're earning money, and if you're earning money, you should be fully capable of
30 seconds.
paying for college, so it is not necessary that it's free, and you should be able to pay off your debts. Thank you for listening to us today, and this is why university education should not be free in Vietnam. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic of our debate is universities in Vietnam should be free, and we, the affirmative team, believe that this statement is true. First, I would like to remind you some of the points that the negative team made. They say that the countries such as Germany, Sweden are able to support the free college because they have a higher GDP than Vietnam. But before Sweden college are free, the Sweden GDP are lower than Vietnam now. So that means Vietnam can make university be free. Also, they say that by not having any debt, the students are not motivated. But I ask you, how can a tremendous debt motivate them? It can even lead them to depression because of the debt, of the great debt that they need to pay. And they also say that university does not teach you moral lesson, but university is where you learn how to be a man, how to live when you are an adult. So that's why, like my member have said, not only making university be free, the student won't have any loan, but the population of Vietnam will also be more educated. Thank you for listening to our debate.
Okay, and 1 minute for the negative team to prepare their close.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the audience. I am the final speaker of the negative team, and we are here to convince you that university in Vietnam should not be free. Firstly, I would like to rebut the points made by the affirmative team. Firstly, they said that Vietnam now have a higher GDP than European countries like Norway. But I ask you, where do you get this information? Is it from a reliable source? Second, the affirmative team said that if the students have a very high debt, they will have no motivation. But in countries like Australia, if you don't repay the debt, it's okay, they won't force you to repay or something like that. And now I would like to summarize the points made by our team. Firstly, tax money is not enough to afford good equipment and instructors for a good education in university. If all universities in Vietnam are free, the tax money would not be able to create a good education for the students. Second, the government can loan students money so they can pay back the money when they finish college. According to Forbes, a reliable newspaper, an average person without no degree would make about $20,000 per year, while someone who has a degree would make around $44,000 USD per year. So that means that if you have a degree, you make way more money, and you should be able to repay the debt that you loan before you start the education. Thirdly, if university education in Vietnam is free, the students will have no motivation to work for that education. And that is why university in Vietnam should not be free for everyone.